Welcome to Blotz Glory, the ultimate destination for college football. On the show today, we will be going over game picks, talking about the latest coach firing in Hugh Freeze, and my opinion on who should be the next coach at Auburn. Why don't we jump right in and start with the game picks? We are going to start on Tuesday, so I split it into weekday games and weekend games. So the weekday games, we start with UMass and Akron. I know I said I was done picking UMass, but I'm going to go with the Minutemen of UMass to win this time, and hopefully they do win. Because I'm done. If they don't win this week, I'm done picking them. They're already eliminated from bowl eligibility, but give me UMass. Miami of Ohio and Ohio rivalry game. Give me the Red Hawks. Kent State, Ball State. Give me Ball State to beat Kent State. Toledo and Northern Illinois. Give me Toledo to beat Northern Illinois. App State, Georgia Southern. Give me Appalachian State to win. South Florida and UTSA. Give me South Florida to beat UTSA and get back on the winning track after losing to Memphis before their bye last week. Houston and UCF. This could be a sneaky good game in the Big 12, but I think Houston wins it easily. Memphis and Tulane. This game was a toss-up. I couldn't really pick who I absolutely wanted to win this game. But I'm going to go with Memphis to win. Give me the Tigers. Northwestern and USC. Give me Northwestern to win. And then we get to the weekend games. Indiana and Penn State. This isn't going to be much of a game. Just look at the Ohio State-Penn State game last week. Ohio State, yes, they started slow in the first half against Penn State, but once they got out of halftime, Penn State didn't score a single point. So give me Indiana to beat Penn State. West Virginia and Colorado. We took West Virginia to lose last week, and it backfired. They actually won. So I'm going to go with West Virginia this week to beat Colorado. Next game, Temple and Army. You know, it's a service academy, so Army's going to want to run the football and chew the clock and play control football. But with that being said, I'm going with Temple here to beat Army. Then we've got SMU and Boston College. Boston College is horrible. I'll talk about Bill O'Brien in a few minutes and my opinion on why I think he still has a job. I think he should have been fired a long time ago. But give me SMU after that big upset win last week over Miami. James Madison and Marshall. Give me James Madison to beat Marshall. Southern Miss and Arkansas State. Give me Southern Miss. They've only lost, I believe, 2 games this year. And Charles Huff, he might lead another team to the conference championship game in the Sun Belt. He did it with Marshall last year before getting a job at Southern Miss. And I think there's an opportunity here for him to do it again at Southern Miss and parlay this into a bigger job. Maybe Auburn? Maybe Wisconsin? I don't know yet. Georgia and Mississippi State. Give me Georgia. This is not going to be a close game. I think Georgia beats the you-know-what out of Mississippi State. Texas Tech, BYU. I think this is my upset of the week. Give me Texas Tech to upset BYU BYU has to travel from Utah, from Provo, Utah, all the way across the country to Lubbock, Texas. So give me the Red Raiders to upset BYU. And the last game pick is Ohio State and Purdue. Give me Ohio State. I was talking to a Michigan fan today, and we were talking about how Purdue may be 2-7, but they're a feisty 2-7 team. Michigan only beat them by 5. The one thing that scares me as an Ohio State fan about this game against Purdue is if you go back and you look, I think it was either 2021 or 2018, the last time we played Purdue in West Lafayette. And it was a Tyler Trent game. We lost to Purdue by a lot. Is that going to happen this year? I don't think so. Give me the Buckeyes. I mentioned that we were going to talk about the latest college football coach firing, and that would be Lane Kiffin. Not Lane Kiffin, I mean Hugh Freeze at Auburn. And to me, personally, I saw this coming from a mile away. I think Hugh Freeze lasted too long into the season at Auburn. I think he should have been gone a long time ago, maybe last year. It was the same way I thought about Sam Pittman, and finally Sam Pittman got fired. But I feel like Auburn, yes, they may have waited a little too long, but I feel like they're still going to get their guy at head coach. You know, I'm going to throw out some names for the Auburn job. And I know some Auburn fans watch the show. Down below in the comments of this episode, let me know who you think the next Auburn coach should be. First name I'm going to throw out there is Brian Harsin. And I'm doing this from 5-1. So this is number 5, Brian Harsin. Yes, Auburn fans, I know what you're going to say. We don't know. We've been down that road. We don't want to go back. Well, you might not have a choice. He might be one of the better options out there because it looks like James Franklin's going to be gone. It looks like James Franklin's probably going to Virginia Tech. Then you would have said, oh, we can just pivot to Brian Kelly. No, looks like he might be going to Penn State. So there's 2 big names off the board already. Then you're like, oh, why don't we just pivot this to Sark or somebody like that? Maybe Lane Kiffin. I don't think Sark's leaving Texas, and I don't think Lane is leaving Ole Miss. So at number 4, 5 is Brian Harsin. 4, and I know Auburn fans are going to like to hear this, Billy Napier. I know he didn't have success. He had one good year at Florida. I think you put him at Auburn, and I think he can do good things at Auburn. That's number 4. Number 3, John Gruden. He has said he wants to come into coaching again, and he wants to go into the SEC. Can I see Gruden working at Auburn? Maybe. I think he's higher on the list because I think he's a better option than a Brian Harsin or the guy I said at number 4 and Billy Napier. Number 2, and I know people are going to say, oh, there's no way he's enjoying himself where he is right now. Jeff Monken of Army. Jeff Monken would be, I think Jeff Monken, actually I'm going to take that back. Any group of 5 coach, I think they would easily, if Auburn gave them the right amount of money, I think they would easily take the Auburn job. any group of five coach, whether it be Summerall, Munkin, Golish, Trailer, Huff, Tony Gibson, but I don't think Tony Gibson's ready to step up a notch and go to a SEC school yet. And number one is Josh Heupel. Yes, I know Tennessee fans are not going to like hearing that, but Tennessee fans, I think Josh Heupel might be the next big coach to get the boot and get bought out by Tennessee. We've already seen Brian Kelly get it. We've already seen, and if it's not Heupel, maybe it's Sharon Moore by Michigan. Because there's rumblings out there that the Michigan Boosters want a new coach in there. They want Sharon Moore out. Can I see it? No. Because they would not be smart to let Sharon Moore walk and go somewhere else. Because I don't think they would be willing to pay somebody else to be their head coach. Here's the other thing I'm going to say about the whole Hugh Freeze. I do think Hugh Freeze will get a job somewhere else. Honorable mention for the Auburn job. I said Heupel. I meant Jeremy Pruitt because that's the name right now that's consistently coming up for Auburn is Jeremy Pruitt. Can I see it? Maybe like a 45, 50% chance that it happens. Now, here's some, I'm not going to say unrealistic names, but here's some less likely names for the Auburn job. I did say Alex Golish as a group of five coach, but I could also see Golish staying at South Florida and not taking a bigger job until he's ready. And I could absolutely see that. Same with Jeff Traylor. I could see him staying at UTSA and looking for a job outside the SEC at a different Power 4 school because UCLA is still open. Oregon State's open. And Oregon State's going to be looking for a head coach that can win because they're going into the new Pac-12. Oklahoma State's another job that's open. And we haven't even gotten to who. I think the obvious option for Oklahoma State for their coaching gig would be Zach Robinson because he has ties to the state of Oklahoma. He played at Oklahoma State. So I think he would be the perfect job, the perfect option for them. I think Brett Pry will get another opportunity as a head coach. Yes, I realize it didn't work at Virginia Tech, but I think he does get a job somewhere else. Maybe it's UCLA. Because and I'm going to talk about it here in a second. Actually, let me jump into it right now without even wasting any time. There is rumblings that UCLA wants to move out of the Rose Bowl and move to SoFi. Can I see it? Absolutely, I can see it happening. I can absolutely see an avenue where UCLA moves out of the Rose Bowl and moves to SoFi because it has a lot more seating capacity, and that maybe attracts a big time head coach, maybe. I can tell you guys, I don't see leaving their current job. Jedd Fisch, I know he's been connected to Florida, to the Gators. I don't see it. I don't see him leaving Washington for the University of Florida job. No, I'm going to throw two names out there for University of Florida. And it's not names that people are talking about right now. All the talk is, Lane Kiffin, Jeff Brom. I don't see Lane Kiffin or Jeff Brom leaving their current job for the job at Florida. Now, here's a couple names I could see taking a job at Florida. Number one, Willie Fritz. I know he's at Houston right now, but I could see Willie Fritz leaving Houston after this year. And if Florida gives him the money, if they break out the cash book, I could see them giving Willie Fritz a big time contract to become their next head coach. That's the first one. Second one is another team in that conference. I could see Chris Kleiman taking, and I know Kansas State fans don't want to hear this, but hear me out. I could easily see Chris Kleiman taking the job at UF, at the University of Florida, and bringing some of his staff from Kansas State over to University of Florida with him. My headline from last week is Texas may be back, folks. Arch Manning is starting to round into form and look like the Arch Manning we were hyped up to see in the preseason before the season started. But that'll wrap up today's episode. I will be back with y'all tomorrow for another episode of the Saturday Night Lights podcast. But have a wonderful rest of your Monday.